early hours of July 26th. Around 2:45 a.m., Russian losses in Ukraine just keep growing. More than 1 million soldiers, thousands of tanks, and now tens of thousands of military vehicles wiped out. And the latest blow? A devastating ambush near the town of Novohrihorivka in eastern Ukraine, where a large Russian convoy was completely destroyed. The town sits close to the front lines, near Kostiantynivka, a strategic city that Russian forces have been eyeing for months. They've already gained ground to the northeast and southeast, slowly working to encircle the area. But their advances have been slow, painfully slow. In some sectors, they're only moving forward by 100 meters a day. Still, they've kept pushing. And on July 25th, Russia made a bold move. Satellite images and Ukrainian surveillance picked up a large force heading into the countryside east of Novohrihorivka. The convoy was made up of 75 vehicles, including T-80 tanks, BMP carriers, UAZ trucks, quad bikes, and even motorcycles. This wasn't something Ukraine had seen in a while. For months now, most Russian attacks have relied on smaller infantry groups, drones, or low-cost vehicles. Big armored pushes like this? Almost unheard of now, especially after the massive losses Russia's armored units have taken since 2022. So, what made them go big again? It's possible they thought Ukraine had thinned its forces in the area, or that they could launch a surprise push and punch through the Ukrainian line. Either way, it was a mistake, because Ukraine had already seen the movement coming. The 35th Marine Brigade, alongside drone teams from the 46th Airmobile, had been monitoring the buildup for over a week. They used aerial surveillance, local intel, and pattern tracking to predict the convoy's route. And as the first vehicles rolled toward the village of Kryvyi-Luka, Ukraine was already in position. They'd set up an ambush corridor, narrow roads, surrounded by hills and tree lanes, pre-targeted by artillery. Drones hovered quietly above, relaying live footage. Infantry units were hidden nearby. And then it happened. As soon as the lead tank reached the midpoint of the corridor, Ukraine struck. Artillery fire rained down. FPV drones buzzed in from above, slamming into the middle of the column. The first and last vehicles were hit, trapping the rest. Panic set in. Some Russian drivers tried to reverse, others swerved into ditches. It didn't matter. Ukraine's forces hit them from every angle. Footage later released shows the chaos in real time. Tanks erupting in flames. BMPs torn apart. Soldiers abandoning vehicles and running for cover, only to be picked off by mortars or caught in the blast radius of another drone strike. Some of the tanks had anti-drone cages welded to their roofs. But these defenses did little. Ukraine knew exactly where to aim. The T-80s, like the older T-72s, have a major flaw. Their ammo is stored directly under the turret. Hit the right spot, and the entire vehicle explodes from the inside. That's exactly what Ukraine did, again and again. By the time the dust settled, only 4 Russian vehicles had made it out intact. 1 Brim recovery vehicle, 1 MTLB, and 2 motorbikes. The rest? Destroyed or abandoned. Around 55 Russian soldiers were confirmed killed in the fighting, with at least 70 more wounded. Some were seen trying to crawl from wreckage, only to be spotted by drones and targeted again. It was brutal and precise. And this wasn't just a battlefield win. It was a morale victory, too, because it sent a message, loud and clear. Even now, 2.5 years into this war, Ukraine is not only standing firm, it's still outsmarting and outmaneuvering one of the biggest armies in the world. And this wasn't the only time they did it that week. Just 2 days later, near Belozerka, a village close to the southern front, Russia tried something similar. A second armored convoy was deployed toward Mern, hoping to crack Ukrainian lines from the south. But again, they chose the wrong route, a narrow stretch of road locals call the Corridor of Steel. It's notorious. Destroyed Russian vehicles lined both sides. Drone teams have this route mapped in detail. Still, the convoy moved in. The 128th Assault Brigade was already in place. As soon as the Russians crossed a marked kill zone, the attack began. Drone swarms, indirect fire, and rapid flanking maneuvers. The result? Total destruction. Another 40-plus vehicles gone. No Ukrainian losses reported. What we're seeing is a shift. Russia still has numbers, but Ukraine is making every shot count. using smart tactics, well-coordinated brigades, and cheap but deadly drones to neutralize expensive equipment in minutes. And Russia knows it, because now, whenever their soldiers are ordered into tanks or told to ride toward another easy target, they'll think of Novorossiysk, of the destroyed T-80s, the smoke columns, the burned-out BMPs, and they'll hesitate. That hesitation can be deadly. Ukraine, despite the odds, is still holding ground, still defending its cities, still turning Russian firepower into metal scrap and smoldering wreckage. And this isn't the last you'll hear of it. Ukrainian forces are continuing to launch precision strikes in multiple directions, pushing back against Russian advances and adapting fast to every new tactic thrown their way. Fresh counterattacks are already in motion, and reports of new ambushes, destroyed convoys, and surprise drone operations are coming in almost daily. The situation on the ground is shifting quickly, and every move matters. We'll be covering it all, breaking down key developments, analyzing strategy, and following the soldiers holding the line. So if you want real updates, with clear reporting and no extra noise, make sure to subscribe. And powerful footage are on the way. Stay tuned.